Whole life insurance is a terrible investment. The returns are garbage. You don't even break even for years. Why would I want to pay interest to borrow my own money? If you've been researching infinite banking, you've heard all of these objections. Maybe you've said them yourself. I'm Brian with Remnant Finance, and I'm an authorized infinite banking concepts practitioner, which means you probably think I'm about to dismiss all these concerns and give you a sales pitch. I'm not. Because here's the truth: most of these objections are absolutely valid if you're thinking about it the wrong way. Today, we're going to go through the top 10 objections to infinite banking, and I'm going to tell you when the critics are right, when they're missing the point, and how to know if you should even be considering this strategy. No fluff, no hype, just straight truth. Let's go. Let's start with the biggest one. Whole life insurance is a terrible investment. You know what? I agree. Whole life insurance is a terrible investment. The returns don't compete with a good stock portfolio. You won't see 10 to 12% or more in annual returns. Your cash value grows slowly, especially in the early years. But here's where everyone gets confused: infinite banking is not an investment strategy, it's a banking strategy. When you put money in a checking account, do you complain that it's a terrible investment? No, because that's what it's for. It's where you park capital so you have liquidity and access. And that's what IBC is. It's not trying to beat the market, it's trying to replace the function of a bank in your financial life. The question isn't, can this beat my 401k? The question is, would I rather pay interest to myself and my family and into my own ecosystem, or would I rather pay it to Chase, Ford, Bank of America, Discover Card? The wrong comparison will give you the wrong conclusion. But Brian, you're only getting 4 to 5% returns. I can get 10% in the market. Can you though? Let's talk about what returns actually means. In the stock market, you get growth, but you have no guarantees. You can't access it without selling it, and you're hoping the market cooperates when you actually need your money. With a properly structured IBC policy, you're getting guaranteed growth. It literally cannot go down. You're getting tax free access. You're not paying capital gains. You're getting liquidity. You can access it next week if you need to. You're getting collateral value. The banks and especially the insurance companies will lend against it. You're getting predictability. You know exactly what you're going to have in 10, 20, 30 years. Can your 401k do that? No, because it's a different tool used for a different function. Here's what people miss: IBC isn't competing with your investments, it's competing where you're parking your safe money, your emergency fund, your down payment savings, your reserves. If you've got $50,000 sitting in a savings account earning 4%, and it could be earning the same plus dividends, plus providing a death benefit, plus being secure, plus giving the ability to borrow against it and keep it growing while it's being utilized. Suddenly, 4 to 5% looks pretty different, doesn't it? The next one I love. Yeah, but you don't even break even for years because of all the fees. And that one's sort of true, but let me explain what's really happening. In a properly designed policy utilized for the infinite banking concept, you're front loading cash value. That means in year one, I don't know, you might put in 12,000 and it depends how it's designed, you might have 8,000, you might have $9,000 in cash value. Where did the rest go? Well, insurance costs, you have a death benefit from day one. Policy fees, it costs something to get this thing set up. There's a company that's putting this money to work to make sure that they can continue to pay you dividends. And the company has to earn money in order for your money to earn money. There's agent compensation. So, yeah, there is a break even point, as everybody talks about. But here's what the critics don't tell you: you have access to that cash value immediately, or I should say within a month, within 21 days. So while it might take a few years to have cash value equal the total premiums paid, You can borrow against that $9,000 in month one or month two if you need to. It's not locked away like it is in a lot of traditional financial vehicles. And here's the thing nobody mentions: what's the break even point on interest you pay to the banks? If you finance a $30,000 car at 7% over 5 years, you pay about $4,500 in interest. That's $4,500 you never get back. So, where's that break even point? There isn't one. With IBC, you're paying a cost to build a system that recaptures those interest payments for the rest of your life. And that's the trade off, the early years. This is where it gets really confusing. So pay attention. Why would I pay interest to borrow my own money? Common objection. The misconception is that you're just paying interest to yourself anyway. In both of these statements, they kind of reveal a misunderstanding of how policy loans work. Here's the reality: when you take a policy loan, the insurance company does not remove money from your cash value or money from your policy. Your cash value stays put, continuing to grow with guarantees and with dividends. The insurance company lends you their money using your policy or your cash value as collateral. So essentially, you're borrowing against your cash value. And you pay that company interest, currently somewhere between 5 and 8% with most companies. But your cash value is growing at somewhere in the neighborhood of annualized long term 4%. It has dividends, has guaranteed growth, and that's tax free growth inside the policy. So you're not borrowing your own money, you're borrowing the insurance company's money. It's like borrowing other people's money while your money that you've capitalized, your pool of capital, continues to grow. But Brian, I'm still paying interest. Yes. But ask yourself, what's the alternative? If you need a $30,000 car, you have three options. You can pay cash. Your $30,000 stops growing forever. There's a huge opportunity cost in that. Option two, you could finance through a bank, let's say at 7% in today's market. So you pay the bank $4,500 in interest over 5 years, and that money is gone forever, enriching the banker. Option three, you can borrow against your policy at 5, 6, 7, I don't know what percent, depends on the company. Your $30,000 continues growing in the policy. You pay interest to the insurance company, but remember, you're a part owner in a mutual insurance company and they're going to kick you some of the dividends. So you are going to recapture some of that interest. And the other powerful thing is you can structure your repayment plan however you want. You have total control in that loan repayment. You own the car. There's not a lien against it that the bank has. Those repayments you make, they also rebuild your banking system. The interest isn't disappearing into a bank's profit margins. It's staying in the mutual insurance company and they pay those dividends back to you, one of the policyholders. So you're not paying yourself interest, but you are keeping that money in a system you participate in rather than enriching an outside bank. The next objection I love: the agent makes huge commissions. True. And I'm going to tell you exactly how that works because you deserve to know. On a standard whole life policy, the agent might make anywhere from 50 to 110% of the first year's base premium. So if you pay $10,000 in base premium, that agent could make somewhere between $5,000 and $11,000. That sounds insane until you understand the context. First, that's an upfront commission. They don't get something like that every single year. Second, that commission comes from the insurance company's general fund, not from your cash value. Your cash value is a separate calculation. And third, the agent has ongoing service responsibilities. If I design your policy, I'm hoping to be with you for the next 30, 40 years, not just at this sale. We're going to be together until one of us dies. But here's the real question: do you make financial decisions based on what someone else earns or based on whether the strategy serves you? Your financial advisor managing your 401k or your mutual funds or whatever you're into, they get paid too, typically 1% annually, which over 30 years dwarfs an insurance agent's commission. Does that make your 401k or your mutual funds or whatever else you're doing a scam? Judge the strategy on its merits, not on whether someone else gets compensated for delivering it. The next objection: this only works if you're rich. Well, define rich. You don't need to be a millionaire to do IBC, but you do need consistent cash flow. Most people I work with are funding policies anywhere from $500 to $4,000, $5,000 a month or annualized. That's not rich. It's middle to upper class for most people with a decent cash flow management. Can somebody make $40,000 a year doing this? Maybe. Maybe not effectively. It depends on what they're doing with their money. Can somebody making more than $100,000 do this? Absolutely. The question isn't how much you make, it's how much discretionary cash flow you have after expenses. If you're living paycheck to paycheck at $200,000 a year, IBC is not going to work for you. If you're disciplined at $75,000 a year and have $500,000, $800,000 a month available, it absolutely can work for you and improve your life. Here's the Dave Ramsey special: buy term and invest the difference. It sounds great in theory. Let me show you why it fails in practice. First, most people don't invest the difference, they spend it. Human behavior defeats the strategy before it even starts. Nelson describes this as Parkinson's law in his book. Second, term insurance normally expires. For most people, depending on when they take it out, it's probably going to expire around the age of 60 to 65, right at the point that you're statistically most likely to die. So you paid premiums for 30 years and you got nothing. Third, invest the difference assumes you're disciplined, the market cooperates, you don't panic sell, you don't need the money before retirement, and that's a lot of assumptions. And the other thing I'll say is that most people don't even know what the difference is because they don't run a comparative analysis between the term and the whole life policy. And even if they do, they're also running it for a whole life policy that's not designed for infinite banking. Practicing infinite banking isn't competing with buy and term and invest the difference. It's showing you a different model. Build a banking system first, create liquidity, guarantees, create cash flow, then invest with what's left over. Use your banking system to fund your investments. Have your money growing in two places at the exact same time. It's not either or, it's and it's about the financial order of operations. Term insurance does have a place and it does provide protection. It's important. I have it. You should probably have it. But the investment side of it is the growth phase. IBC is more of the protect and save phase. And if we don't have a proper savings foundation and a proper protection plan in place, all the wealth you accumulate can crash and burn in one event. The next objection: this sounds too good to be true. Good. That means you're thinking critically. Here's what IBC can't do: it can't beat stock market returns, it can't make you rich overnight, it can't work if you have no cash flow, it can't replace your investments, it can't function without discipline. But here's what it can do: it can provide guaranteed, predictable growth. It can give you liquidity and control of your capital. It can let you recapture interest you're currently paying to outside lenders like banks. And it can serve multiple functions simultaneously: savings, protection, collateral, borrowing, investments. It can compound over generations. It's not magic, it's just a different way of thinking about where you store capital and how you finance major purchases and where the money for investments comes from. Only whole life insurance salesmen promote this. That one's partially true, and it reveals something important. Yes, IBC requires whole life insurance. And yes, the people teaching it and promoting it mostly are licensed to sell it. We do benefit from the sale of this product. We do benefit from teaching this to people. But ask yourself, who promotes 401ks? Financial advisors who make money managing them. Who promotes index funds? Vanguard, Fidelity, and the advisors who sell them. Who promotes real estate? Real estate agents, investors. Everyone promoting a financial strategy has a bias. The question is whether the strategy itself has merit. The infinite banking concept was developed by Nelson Nash, who wrote about it in his book, Becoming Your Own Banker. You should definitely pick up a copy of this and read it if you want to learn more about this strategy. But he didn't invent whole life insurance. He discovered a way to use it that the insurance companies weren't even teaching. There's a reason Wall Street doesn't promote this. They don't make money when you are in control of your capital. So, is infinite banking concept a scam? No, but it's not for everyone. If these objections make you uncomfortable, if you love your 401k, if you love your index funds, if you trust the stock market to always be there when you need it, then stick with what you're doing. And I don't even hate the stock market. One of my core strategies is trading options, but it's what I do after I've protected and started a savings platform. And if you're the type of person who questions why everyone follows the same financial script, or if you're like someone like me who questions all the standard narratives, whether that be government, finance, media, education, medicine, etc., if you're tired of paying interest to banks on cars, homes, businesses, if you want control, predictability, and a system that serves your family for generations, then maybe these objections aren't reasons to avoid the infinite banking concept. Maybe they're just misunderstandings that need clearing up. I'm Brian with Remnant Finance. Subscribe to this channel if you want financial strategies that challenge the mainstream narrative, because the best financial decisions come from understanding both sides of the argument, not just following the crowd. If you want to book a call with us, visit remnantfinance.com/calendar or simply click the link below.